why are we here right now with our first interview talking about the Hip Hop Summit here in Delaware. And we have and they're not strangers to Good Morning Delaware,
they're
right?
like kin. They're like kin folks, you know.
And we love that.
We definitely love it. 3 years in to the Hip Hop Summit at the Delaware Art Museum, Grouchy Greg, the founder of AllHipHop.com, one of the biggest hip hop websites in the world, and we're talking about 28 years going strong.
Right.
Now, the other gentleman with him, my main man, is community activist, Guerrilla Republic, has been doing community work since the day of breathing. So I'm so excited to have them both here because they're not just people that we're interviewing, they're my brothers.
Yes.
They have been like
good people.
Great. I think I'm coming up with a brand called Great Humans.
Yes.
Right? And they are great humans. So gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the plaza.
It is Balleto and Grouchy Greg. Welcome. Welcome back.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm choking back tears.
Yes.
Bro.
I'm choking back tears.
Bro, let me tell you something. Ever since I told Grouch I had an idea about this thing, he has been there for me. He never looked at it as and I say this because it's very important. He never looked at me as competition. We would meet in Newark and he'd be like, "What do you want to know?" And he would sit there and he would just open up his toolbox and he would share it with me. And even to today, we have those grown men conversations about business, conversations about personal growth that I enjoy more than anything. So you talking about teary-eyed, bro? Like people don't do that. You know what I mean? They find you a threat when you're trying to do something, but there was no threat.
You did the right thing, Ivan. You aligned yourself with someone who was like-minded, goal-driven, and who understands what it means to persevere.
Yeah.
Right? And for those that don't know, I think we need to refresh their memories because I know that Iz and Grouchy Greg are no strangers to Good Morning Delaware. And you've been on the show a few times and even have watched our journey as we have evolved. But the both of you also have evolved in the community and are continuing to do amazing things. But I would love to share with a lot of our new viewers and fans a little bit about what you do in your background. And I'll start with you, Grouchy Greg. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a lifelong Delawarean. I've been involved in the hip hop and arts community for decades. And, we launched, my partner, Chuck Jigsaw Creekmer, and I launched AllHipHop in late 1998. And over the past 2 decades, it's grown to be one of, if not the most influential platforms for hip hop culture.
Wow.
Yeah.
And through that, I was named by the previous governor to the Delaware State Council for the Arts. Wow. And that led me to the Delaware Art Museum. I've known Iz for 2 decades too. We've been part of the hip hop community for quite some time here. And we decided, I got with Iz and I said, look, there needs to be more hip hop related events here in the state that aren't centered around concerts or partying.
Right.
And I felt the museum would be a perfect venue for hip hop because it's a form of high art in many disciplines, technology, art, music, dance, hip hop touches everything.
Right.
And when I approached Iz about the concept of coming up with an event at the Art Museum, he was, all for it. He came up with the name, the Hip Hop Cultural Summit, and we went to work.
Right.
We went to work.
Amazing.
So when Grouchy came to you with that, what was running through your mind? Because I know you've been heavy in these streets and definitely about a partner when it comes to culture. What did that mean? What were you thinking?
Right, and then share with all of us a little bit of your background too, because I think it's very, very important.
Yeah, no, and it ties in with it. I'm a native of Peru, born in Peru, raised in New York, and lived there for 27 years, and then I came out to Delaware. But one of the main things that really helped shape me as a person was hip hop culture. And what does that mean? It means like growing up in New York, got to see firsthand what it meant to the people, and especially about respect. What does one have to do to survive in one's neighborhood, one's block, one's city? And that, as it evolved in life through my journey, I ended up being more of an activist because hip hop culture to me meant something to do something about it.
Right, right.
And along with that came along an organization, Guerrilla Republic, which I've co-founded and has extended to 22 different nations now worldwide of activists, of community leaders. When Greg presented this idea of bringing hip hop culture to the Delaware Art Museum, it was something that was meant to be, especially in our conditions right now for the city of Wilmington. They need to hear the purpose of hip hop culture. They need to find out the reasons why. One thing that I feel is that it's a great way to learn and also how to be proactive in the culture. Right. And especially here right now, like one thing that needs to be addressed, and I'm not tying it in, what I'm trying to explain and re-educate people is that there's a way to address issues that affect our inner city, and especially our inner city youth. Hip hop culture was always that. Yeah. It was a voice. Yeah. It was a way and a path for others to learn and to grow among each other. Now economically, strongly, how to rebuild your community. That's why the Cultural Summit is important. It's a summit for people to learn from. So when Brother Greg, Doctor, yes, Dr. Grouchy. And that's the amazing part. Like, who would have thought we can imagine to be where we are? Right. Yeah. I right now is the cultural program manager for the Delaware Art Museum for a few years, and him as a doctor. Think about that. We grew up hip hop.
Right.
But at the same time, hip hop brought us here. Yeah. I started just from organizing hip hop events through all different neighborhoods, from Brooklyn to the Bronx to here to Delaware and other places. But the main thing is, how do we empower our people?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot more connected to this because at the same time, we also have an exhibition opening that very weekend in printing, illustrating race, talking about 3 different generations from the Civil War to the Harlem Renaissance, into the Civil Rights Movement, and how the media portrayed, especially race, from a negative point of view. Right. And then what some artists did to change that narrative. Right. One great artist was Emory Douglas, who impacted hip hop culture. If you ever seen the movement and the civil rights movement, for me personally, when I was looking at the Black Panthers, what it meant to protect, to love your community. But those images impacted one person.
Yeah.
So that's why this is important. That's why this year's Cultural Summit, we're addressing its impact on race and culture. That's what the summit is about. I can keep talking about it. I don't want to take everyone's time.
No, you're good.
But
I love listening.
We need a hip hop show because
I love listening to Iz.
These two. Oh my God.
Both of them, but Iz, you're very passionate. Obviously in what you do, and the Delaware Arts Museum is very fortunate to have you. Yeah, because every time we've had the opportunity to interview you on Good Morning Delaware here at DETV and about a topic or an event or something that's happening, you're so passionate and on what you are speaking about. And I'm engaged, so I'm sure there's a reason. They know what they're doing over there at Delaware Arts. They know what they're doing over there, because I'm always like, wow, I feel moved. I feel inspired. I want to be a part of it. And I know that's what's most important. You want the community to be a part of this event. Yeah. So how can the community come out to this event? Tell us a little bit more, the date, where they need to go, time, all that very important information.
Well, let me say this. First off, we have a very special guest this year. Each year we have a keynote, and this year's keynote is DMC from Run DMC.
Wow.
Nice.
And for those who are familiar with hip hop culture, Run DMC. I mean, and probably even those who aren't so familiar with hip hop culture know Run DMC. That's the oversized impact that they have had on pop culture. You see the shirts. Yep. You see variations of the shirt everywhere. Yeah. So DMC is the keynote because Run DMC brought hip hop to the world, around the world. They're considered the Beatles of hip hop. But this group single-handedly helped hip hop cross over into new audiences.
Yeah.
The first group to be on the cover of Billboard, the first rap group to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. I mean,
the first group to get an advertising deal.
An advertising deal with Adidas.
With Adidas. Yeah.
Which they still have.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So so DMC is going to be there talking about his journey and his impact on, bringing the culture to everybody. So the event is October 18th from 10 to 5 p.m., the Delaware Art Museum. It's $10, and you can register at allhiphop.com/summit. And for those inquiring about the price, 100% of the proceeds go back to programming at the Delaware Art Museum. So this isn't something that is for profit.
Right, get rich
The Delaware
quick.
Art Museum is a nonprofit. 100%, every single dollar that is earned goes back to programming for the community at the Delaware Art Museum. And so this is a community event. This is for the state of Delaware. We want people from Wilmington to come in and explore the exhibit that's opening and to explore the museum. This is your institution.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Vin.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
You have, can you talk about, just name some of the previous keynotes that you had? Because I think that's dynamic as well. Because this is not just something, hey, we just putting something together. This is something that's educational and inspirational and definitely a must. Because when you think of, and when you go, then when you see worlds collide, right? You'll see white people that know everyone's music. You see black people that know you see Spanish people, you see, immigrants, you see everyone there saying, it wasn't just the entertainment, it was the culture behind it that made me who I am. So who else did you have?
So last year we had Flavor Flav, co-founder of Public Enemy. Last year's event was about hip hop and activism and social justice. So Public Enemy being, the group, for that. We also had, the year before that, we celebrated hip hop's 50th anniversary. So we had Grandmaster Caz, MC Sha Rock, Grand Wizard Theodore, photographer Joe Conzo. These are all the founding fathers and mothers of hip hop culture. They were there when it was born and they were chronicling it. And this year we're also spotlighting, each year we spotlight something different about Delaware's role in the music industry and the music business. And last year year one, we focused on local artists who had an outsized impact. So we had Young Guru, Marketech. We had a variety of artists from Delaware who put out records and had some success. Year two, we focused on the birth of the music industry. Most people don't know that when somebody gets a Grammy Award, they're getting a gramophone, which was invented by a gentleman from Dover, Delaware. This year, our focus is on Rosedale Beach, which was a segregated beach.
The Black Beach, right?
The Black Beach. There was a time where blacks weren't allowed on Rehoboth, Dewey, or any of the beaches. So we had our own beach, Rosedale Beach, and the history behind this place is incredible. So Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, a number of really big artists, James Brown, they all performed there, and the place is gone. There's a historical marker for it, and there's even an interesting story behind that. So myself and Tamara Burks, who is a historian of the state of Delaware, or on the state of Delaware, we're doing a presentation, and that's our local angle.
Yeah, I love it. October 18th.
October 18th, 10 to 5 p.m., Delaware Art Museum. DMC is the keynote with a Q&A with my co-founder of AllHipHop, Chuck Jigsaw Creekmer. And we have a full day of breakdancing. We have the Ladies of Hip Hop, an all-female breakdancing troupe that's going to do an exhibition. We have a panel about hip hop and race that's moderated by Roxy Romeo of the Rise and Grind morning show on Power 99. And then the panelists, we have Steve Lobel, who's a legendary music manager, Bone Thugs and Harmony, all the way up till today with Bad Baby. We have Martha Diaz, who's a legendary hip hop activist and educator. So we have real heavyweights coming to discuss hip hop and its impact on race throughout the day. Did I miss anything?
The others too as well. Natalie Means, coming from out west from the Native Reservation, about indigenous representation in the hip hop culture too as well. We got brother Rob Love too, founder of Guerrilla Republic. We also have Chino Tarantino and Rex Luger, who've been holding down the west side too as well. But among that, from DJ Soulbug to Cruise Chaos. There's more to this, and at the same time, there's an exhibition by local artists that are presenting hip hop's race and its impact on race. Like I said, this is something that the community must learn, must come support. And I know we talked about it earlier, you know, just in case. I want to make sure that everybody and the people know that right now online, purchase your tickets while you can.
Right.
You know, because
sells out fast.
Yeah, it's gonna sell out fast. I do want to be clear that on the day the prices will go up. So I prefer everybody take the opportunity now,
right,
to be a part of the culture, to be a part of the love, and to be a part of what we're here to do together.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you this before we get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, Grouch, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Oh, I mean, I can almost name the exact moment. You know, I tell the story all the time. You know, I grew up in Brookside in Newark, and around the corner from me was Kimberton, and I crossed over my little wooden bridge and went back into the apartments, and there was a cipher going on, and I rode my little bike up to it and pushed my way through, and there were dudes that I had seen in the neighborhood on a piece of linoleum, breakdancing with I mean, the typical, you know, the kind of classic hip hop scene that you see. And when I saw it and I saw how people were dressed, I said, that's it. And it's what I've been doing ever since.
I love it. How about you, Iz?
Well, I hope it's considered hip hop, to be honest with you, because when the lyrics came out, I felt that was me. It was Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, and that was me auditioning. When that flow came in, oh, I had to get dressed up. I was like, yes, but I felt that was me, and that woke up my spirit.
Right.
You know?
New Edition was definitely hip hop.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Because I don't
They
know
were
what
breakdancing and popping in that video.
Yeah, so there was so much about it because I was like, so I know that sometimes people are like, is that R&B? I'm like, I don't know, man.
No, that was hip hop.
That was hip hop.
Yeah, so.
My time was, I remember my brother came home from Job Corps, right? He went to New York for Job Corps, and he came back and he was like, yo, you gotta listen to this. And he had this thing called a Walkman, right? I'll never forget. And I put it on and I listened to it, and it was Public Enemy. And I was like, what is this? Now, you know, you heard a hip, a hop, a hippie, everyone heard that. But when Public Enemy, when I heard them for the first time, it was something that resonated with your soul. It was, hey, this is what's going on in our community. This is what we need to do to fix it. And people, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know what was going on in New York, but I know in Delaware, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Then right after that, I was introduced to Paid in Full, the white tape. When my brother came home from Job Corps again, he had the white tape, and I was like, what is this poetry? Like, what is this? And it was just simply amazing. How about you?
So I've always enjoyed hip hop music and the culture. I grew up in the performing arts as a dancer, and when I was introduced to hip hop in the dance community, I fell in love. It was like love at first sight for me. And at the time, I was very, very young, and it was still very new. My first hip hop dance showcase was in northern Delaware, if I remember correctly, and we were performing to Montel Jordan. I know, right? And it was very, but it was very new to the community, but I fell in love, and from then on, I always have gravitated toward the hip hop culture, and it's still to this day. Even before that, funny story. So Run DMC, right? Russell Simmons, affiliated with Run DMC.
Of course.
I met him. This is through the pageant community. I met him when I was selected to do an editorial for Elle magazine. They had a sister magazine called Elle Girl, and his daughter was also selected for this feature, and I met him. And they're down-to-earth people. Really awesome, really, really awesome. And I always felt very connected. So when I saw that Run DMC was going to be one of the keynote and the list of people that you have.
That's
I mean,
insane.
Grouchy, you're aligned with so many influential people and successful hip hop artists within the community. And I love that you're able to showcase and educate the community here in Delaware that we've had some greats come through here. And we are very much rooted in the hip hop culture. And if it wasn't for the both of you coming together and joining forces and shining a big light on the hip hop culture, I don't think anybody else would be doing it around here. So thank you for what you're doing, and hats off to both of you. I saw a picture on Grouchy Greg's Instagram when he first started AllHipHop.com. That's a really awesome photo. Really awesome photo. That just shows the grind. It's definitely speaks volume of your work ethic. And when I came across it, I was like, yes, I hope you have that framed somewhere.
I do. You know, that's a picture of me in my first office on Main Street in
It's a really
'95.
Awesome photo.
Okay.
I was sitting there. I had the map behind me with pins on it. I'm on the phone. You know, classic picture.
Okay.
But sometimes I ride down Main Street, and now that's the hotel. There's a hotel there, and I'm
Main
just
Street has changed so much, right?
All right, gentlemen, that's your camera right there. Go ahead and do your invite to the people, to the community.
A peace to all the beautiful people. I would love to see everybody represent and be present at the 3rd Annual Hip Hop Cultural Summit, October 18th from 10 to 5 p.m. The main thing is to remember that hip hop has always been about love.
There you go.
And I'll just say, register now, allhiphop.com, ALLHIPHOP.com/summit, SUMMIT.